All right, so Bitcoin Cash. This is gonna be basically what I think on the 5-day here and why I think you could have a breakout, right? So if we look at this initial motion as a wave 1 into 2, 3, whether you want the 4 here to end or not, or continue onward to over here, that's really up to you. I don't care. I think that was 5 waves up, after which we saw a decent 3-wave motion back. It looks like the low is in after the 382, and it got a bounce at the 0.5 golden pocket, which is amazing. If we check time, I'm certain we will see that the low is in well after the 382. Bada bang. Probably right around the 618-ish in time, which is great. We're in here between the 618, making it highly probable to be a wave 2. Now, if that's a wave 2, I want you to understand that the targets to the upside for Bitcoin Cash will be really decent. That means 5 waves up and 3 waves back. Oh, I don't have the tool on, man. So that would be 0 to the highs of your 5 to the lows of what we're going to go with as our wave 2 for now. For now, that's what I'm going to go with. And we will talk about later down the road if this even begins to come to fruition, whether it is an A into a B and goes for a C or not. But I do think that you're going to see at some point a potential strong motion to the upside on Bitcoin Cash. Now, let's delete this guy. Where'd it go? This one. And we will zoom in to this a little bit cleaner here. Let's get rid of the RSI. The daily time frame itself was very hard to say this is a 5-wave motion to the upside. With it ending with somewhat a 5-wave motion up and then coming down, I would like to say that this was the correction that may be over. Now, when we zoom in, you'll begin to see the 5-wave structures on the 4-hour that we've been tracking for a little while. And those were right here. This is where Josh and I went back and forth in the study about it. And we were saying, hey, man, this was potentially 3 down and 3 up and 3 down again in a WXY formation. So that would have been right here. And then after which we see another potential 5-wave motion to the upside. Yes, this wave 2 is larger in its pullback than the prior wave 2. Because of that, I also want to be open to being wrong, since we also are starting our low off of not a 0 point, right? So we're giving this credit as a correction that ended over here is why we're doing this. And if you are, the other thing that we have to be aware of is the worst case would be if this was some sort of ABC to the upside, ABC to the downside, or a WXY to the downside, and you've made some sort of WX, and now we're going for Y or C, and then we come down. But the best thing we can do to figure out risk on this, I think, is to worry about the hourly. And when we go here, so far we can see the volume continuing to start to come up. If we look at this potential leg to the upside as 5 waves within an A, a pullback in a B, and a move in a C for now, would be my first thing that we would want to look at. But as soon as we started to do so, you can see what? We leave a base channel. When you break from a base channel, it is possible that you are going impulsive or turning into a 1.618 plus move for a possible wave 3. The angle of this and its ascent even makes it hard to want to believe in a C. Now, if you put extensions from 0 to the highs of your A to the lows of your B, you will see that we are far past corrective extensions and moving past impulsive. Now, with this not reaching, I'm guessing, 90% retracement down, we really can't call this needing an extension that high, especially with a 786. I'd rather go with a 1 into a 2. So I think I'm still bullish on Bitcoin Cash here as a wave 1 into a wave 2. And this is all building a wave 3, right? That's just not over yet. With the volume still coming up, it makes me want to side that way. Oops. These are not where we wanted them. We'll put them up here. Move this guy. Now, to make it valid, we would like to see one of two things happen. Number one would be, and this is just going to be drawn on here for now. Number one would be some sort of topping in a wave 3, right? If it comes here, I don't really care. And some sort of 3-wave pullback that will match this time in correction, yes? And then a successive 5-wave motion. Now, once you get this, then spot buyers get to come back into the game, right? And buy this 5-wave pullback. Now, if we are even close with this whole hopeful, maybe 1-2-1-2 bullshit, this was your innermost move, or the last 5-wave up and potential horrible 3-wave pullback. That means its minimum to make a wave 3 off of it, my dog snores so loud, would be all the way up here at $679, then a pullback, and then a 5, right? So you can see how these things start to become really strong motions because of the 1 into the 2, and the 1 into the 2, and the 1 into the 2, right? So even that's wave 3, minimum target would be 747, followed up by wave 5 to 867. So Bitcoin Cash could continue these motions. You just really need to see volume coming in along with it, right? Zcash is another one that you need to be watching. Now, when we're zoomed out like this, we have a 3-wave motion down from the highs and a 3-wave motion up that comes to around a 90% retracement. Because of that, it makes me have to lean into a flat, right? Meaning that we are expecting these highs to be taken out at some point, more than likely, right? Especially with the 90% retracement. The issue is the first motion that we see as a recovery is a potential leading diagonal versus the standard 5-wave motion. Because of that, right, we only have 3 ways that we look for recoveries. Diagonals, standard 5-wave motion, and 1-2, 1-2, 1-2s that eventually break out into 3-4s, 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 and 5s, yes? And that's why Elliott Wave has the chopping and grinding, displacing, chopping and grinding. We read a passage from the book yesterday where we talked about how it is actually more common in figure 1-8 that we would be counting 1-2 stacking than any of these other things, right? So if we are to consistently stick to the theories presented in the book, I do think that it's important to realize that that more common way of counting things should be something that we lean into, right? So let me get to that actual sentence so we can talk about it really quick. And I'm sorry if this gets old hearing the same things over and over again. I really do think it is helpful. So on page 34 in the book, it says figure 1-8 implies an extended wave 3 in the making. Do not hesitate to get into the habit of labeling the early stages of a third wave extension. This exercise will prove highly rewarding, as you will understand from this discussion under wave personality, later we read that in chapter 2, that in figure 1-8 is perhaps the most useful single guide to real-time impulse wave counting in this book. Excuse my vocal cords get pissed from talking all day. So if we are actually leaning into that, that is what we're talking about when we looked at Solana back in the day, right? So when we looked at Solana way back here, that's why you should have been counting 1-2 stacking, right? Wave 1 into wave 2, wave 1 into wave 2, wave 1 into a wave 2. Yes? Instead of worrying about some fucked up diagonal or something like that, the more common thing to count is the 1-2 stacking. Yes? I will tell you, this is starting to get the look of looking for a local bottom and a potential reversal. Unless this is 1-2, 1-2 to the downside. Yes? And we can cover Solana more if people have interest in it. Sorry that I'm all over the board today. I had a real coffee this morning, and it has me fucking jazzed. Let me move my Discord over here so I can see if you guys have anything. Yes, I am recording it, B. Sorry that I just now checked over here. And if anybody else has anything, just put it in the chats. You guys let me know if the stream glitches or freezes for you guys. I'm going to try to do my best to get us through this. Now, Bitcoin is something that we haven't talked about yet, right? So we talked about Bitcoin Cash earlier in the stream. We will go revisit Zcash a little bit more here in a second. We'll also cover Ethereum. I apologize for the lags in the internet. There's not a whole lot I can do about it. We are where we are in the internet right now just because of the kids being on school. Homeschool is going to just take priority every time, unfortunately. So let me shut some Wi-Fi off on my phone and see if that helps us at all. My page is still loading, it appears. All right, now we're back. We're on the daily. All right. So let me get this all set up for us really quickly. And we're going to talk about two things really quickly. One is a situation that we keep going on and on about, which is either an A, a B in the WXY, and a C to the downside that ends on high volume. Or, like we've talked about in numerous other streams, I'm going to leave this stuff on here because we have some shit to talk about when we get to the lower time frames. Or 5 waves in 1. 3 waves in 2, 5 waves in 3 is not done yet. Then you get a 4 and a 5, which is a more common way of counting things, followed up by, again, 1, 2 stacking. Wave 3 ends in high volume. Wave 4 pull back in a WXY, that's why we have it noted still. And wave 5 finishes the inner degrees of that wave 3. So you would have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and a final 5th, which would break the bullish market structure that all the bulls are talking about around that fucking 74, 70K low, 76, whatever the little peasants are on about. And then we will see that market structure change, right? So whether this is ABC to the downside or 1, 2 stacking, we will find out soon. We're going to zoom into those lower time frames and break down how we can kind of start to depict which road that we might be going here, okay? If you do have questions, please let me know. All right, so for the invalidation of the WXY, unfortunately, it's all the way up there at $96,641. Now, I'm going to delete some of the shits off my chart real quick so we can start to see what's going on in here. How are you, Jader? It's good to see you here. Hope you're doing good. Alright, so so from the upside here on an hourly, if that topped in a WXY, it is like pulling teeth, but the only thing I could come up with on the hourly to the downside after the Y was a potential 5-wave motion to the downside in a leading diagonal, after which we plotted 3 ways up, 3 waves down, and now we're looking for a strong 5-wave motion to the upside that achieves a minimum target of taking out, excuse my clicking, the top of that A wave as a minimum to make the most common thing, which is a running flat in an AB, or an expanding flat, excuse me, in an ABC, meaning that we would likely step into the hourly internal fair value gap left behind that is created from 90,684 up until the top around 91,893. If Bitcoin is to push up into those levels and reject, this would be an amazing ABC flat within a potential wave 2 of a diagonal. Now, the reason we're siding with this potential wave 2 in a diagonal is because if we measure from the start of the diagonal 0 point in time, linear, until the end, or the 5 waves, we noticed that the 3 waves up in A was in before the 382 in time. Because of this, we sided with an ongoing correction. If you go over to the Bitcoin floor, you will notice that we very clearly noted this very early on in the plan so that you were caught up and you were in the loop, yes? We noted this back on the 17th of December at 10:35 in the morning. When we noted it, you were only, I think you were only there. Let me double check. Nope, you were here when we noted this plan. And I told you that this was going to be an A wave, a B wave up, and a C wave rejection. You've had every opportunity to absolutely annihilate this range on Bitcoin, yes? And if you were unable to, I would just suggest studying more and just digging into it more, because you will be able to do this in time, right? We're all very capable of it. Now, my major concern is that either the 5 is in for the C, and we made some sort of running flat, which we're going to go zoom in a little bit more and go talk about, or we're wrong, and this is the first 5 off of the low, and maybe an A or a wave 1. Yes? Now let's go into that 15-minute here, which we don't often do together, and have a little bit more of a conversation. So as people have been pointing out, this looks like a 3-wave motion to the downside and is a potential wave 4, right? So it can be. If this 5 is not in, son of a fucker. If you lock your deceleration channel on, once we leave that deceleration channel, it becomes more probable that you are still not done. Yes, so if this is somehow the wave 3, world's ugliest fucking mishmortion of a move right here, but maybe. So we're just gonna say maybe. So for now, let's stay on the roadmap of hoping for the one more high, if it can get out of the deceleration channel, to become the most common thing, which would be an expanded flat. That idea goes in the gutter if you lose the 0.618 of the measure for wave 4, and that will come into play for you at 86,700 will be the invalidation for that final 5th wave to the upside. So let's wait and see what happens there. You should be noticing that you have hidden bull divergence between a wave 4 and a wave 2 on your RSI. So lower lows on the RSI in wave 4 than wave 2, hidden bull divergence. You should also be noticing that in this motion to the downside, that the selling volumes kind of shut off, yeah? Which is another thing that we would like to see. So maybe, right? That's the hope. Let me go over here and check to see if anybody has any questions over Bitcoin or anything we've talked about so far. What's up, Donovan? Good to see you here. All right, so far we've talked about Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin. I'll keep going. If anybody has any questions over either of those, get them in the chat. So I want to show you why I'm long on Zcash and what concerns me for the like, maybe there's going to be more to this than what Surf thinks. All right, so what I've been tracking is 5 waves within here and a 3-wave pullback. 5 waves within here, 3-wave pullback. 5 waves within here, 3-wave pullback. Right? So I know this is starting to get a little repetitive. But so far, that's the way I'm seeing it. And if that's true, this could be the partner leg, which would be my largest concern, of this guy, right? That bigger diagonal that we were talking. I really don't want to lean into that, right? So what I would like to say is that it's an ABC to the upside. Let me disregard my impulsive Super Bowl count that I put on, right? Because I am in a lever and I'm getting a little greedy, I think, with this motion towards the upside. But what I also don't want to do is sell out into the motion because I think I know everything. Yes? So we're past the 1.618. We're goosing her a little bit of volume. I want to be open still to this being an ABC and this just being a really strong C wave. But this is that internal fair value gap you're going to notice on the 4-hour that was left behind. So if by chance, right, we're building a 4-hour candle off of the golden pocket, I really do think why not continuation last 30 minutes, push into the internal fair value left behind here, right? So in my opinion, let's go see what that 4-hour fair value gap looks like. Let's test that out for liquidity and rejections and still be considering the ABC just in case, right? So if you get 4-hour rejection from the internal fair value gap in an extended 3-wave motion could very well be that C wave that we were looking for to the upside. If it is, I want you to remember one thing. People are going to tell you time and time and time again, you cannot have a flat after a zigzag. There's nothing that says that. Wave 2 can be any correction. It's just that the most common thing to have happen after it would be a zigzag, right? Not a flat. So my largest concern, because of the way that the motion to the downside looks and the 4-hour divergence that we had on the lows, a large portion of me wants to say this is A, reject from the fair value gap in a B, and come down in a strong, scary C. I would really want to be a buyer of Zcash at this point because that original leading diagonal was a 58% move. Yes? So that is going to be a good one to have on our watch list. If there's no questions over Zcash, I'll keep going. The next one I would like to talk about is Ethereum. I think that the bounce that we got from our area of interest was exceptional, okay? This was our area of interest. The one line, which was confluent with the 786 retracement from from low to high of a potential leading diagonal. We were looking for this area of interest to give us a reaction. We got the confluent bounce from a 786 and a one line. Yes, it's amazing. As a spot trader, why was this amazing? Because we were looking for it, right? We were looking for a potential leading diagonal in a 5-wave motion. All 5-wave motions to the upside in this leading diagonal, followed by a very convoluted correction to the downside, in which could be a WXYXZ, even though I don't want to label it as that. Nonetheless, the initial motion was a 35% gain from low to high of the 5-wave motion. And if we replicate that to the lows and we play a 3-swing trade off this with new invalidation as a spot trader coming in, which is very good, folks. We've turned our entry into invalidation. As good as it gets in Elliott Wave, right? I'm risk-free, motherfucker. Come and get me, bitch. So I'm looking for that 35% move. And if you look at this as a risk-to-reward ratio, as a spot trader, your stop loss is the low, right? Because I've already moved my target. Now, we're looking for a 32% minimum gain to the upside. Now, let's talk about the micro, and if a trader didn't get in back then, what they would be looking for now in an attempt to get in. If we go to the 15-minute, we can see a nice, clean motion starting off the lows for a potential 5-waver to the upside. We have what between our hidden bull? I already gave you the answer. We have hidden bull between a wave 2 and a wave 4 in a local uptrend when the RSI made lower lows, but the price action did not, right? This is amazing shit. This is beautiful, right? So far, volume hasn't really came in and gave us much for this motion because I think it is the end, right? Like, or not the end, but the beginning of a trend reversal. So they're often weaker than the motions once kind of the herd catches on, okay? Let me get a sip of my tea here. I'm fucking running on fumes. So if I'm looking for a 5th wave to the upside, I pull an extension from a 0 point to a 3, and I see a deep 3-wave motion to the downside to reset RSI. I add it. Here's my 3rd click. I aim for the 0.618 around $3,000, $3,091 as my wave 5 target for this. At that point, what I would really be looking for is going to be that this RSI continues up, but overall I get a divergence, right? So no new high on the RSI, new high on price action, and a deep pullback over the weekend, right? So if that happens and you do get a 5-wave motion here, I would look for A, to fall down to around the prior degree wave 4, a B wave up, whether it makes an expanded flat or not, I don't know, and a C wave down that comes into the internal fair value gap and liquidity left behind. This is no different than the numerous plays we've taken this season, right? You're literally just doing the same thing over and over again like a little fucking robot who just follows their strategies, yes? All right, so that's Ethereum. Let's move into Doge really quickly. Same concept is going to apply here to Doge. Deep reset on the RSI. What's this? Three-wave pullback, right? Most probable to take the highs and continue the motions. When I look at this within, a large part of me wants to say this is wave 1 into a wave 2, wave 1 into a wave 2, right? 3 into 4, 3 into maybe a really convoluted 4. The main issue is that it just keeps fucking chopping and pushing up, resetting the RSI, pushing up. If this is somehow a wave 5 and it's very choppy for whatever that reason is, great. I'm not buying into this trend. I already own some Doge. What I'm going to be looking for is topping signals, meaning that the volume's dying off, that the RSI is starting to diverge, right? We do have a hidden bear on the RSI, meaning we're already in the oversold territory around 70 here on the hourly. So a pullback sooner than later might make sense. What I want you to see is this volume from the buyers trying to rise up. Yes, if we can get up here, you can see that that's kind of been a good level of volume for a little bit. So in my opinion, I might be just a little more bullish than I should be, but I think Doge is going to continue to push up these stairs, and it's going to go for higher liquidity left behind, right? Because you can see this gap is left, it's closed, right? So if this is closed, and then you look at this gap and you're like, motherfucker, close that one too. Oh my God. What would they do next? They would go external liquidity. Guess what kind of external liquidity this is? Ended on bullish order flow. Guess what kind of external liquidity this is? Ended on bullish order flow. So they're going to work up the stairs so that all the fucking plebs who sold out in fear want to buy back in like little soft-bellied baby girls. So this is one to be watching. PEPE is also on that same list. I told you, be ready. PEPE is potentially going to bring us a motion like we had earlier in the season. I don't know if many of you, I don't think, were members at the time, but we hit a 1,400% play on PEPE. I'm loading up, getting ready for that same play to go again. I'm not buying PEPE right now. I'm letting PEPE go. And when PEPE comes back, Daddy's going to be here. Okay? I'm going to hold Pepe's hand, and we're going to go to the ball together, and we're going to dance, and I'm going to buy it a corsage and feed it fancy food, and it's going to take me for another big ride, okay? So stay patient on PEPE. Daddy's here. We're going to hold its hand. We'll let PEPE hold our pocket. We'll bring it into the jail cell, show it the way around, show it where the bottom bunk is, and things will be okay, right? So we don't need to panic out just yet. You had a daily bull divergence is the thing that was getting us interested here. So let's look and see what this move comes to fruition to the upside. We won't go back down memory lane of the 1,400% play on PEPE. From there. All right, let me see if we have any questions over anything. We covered quite a lot really quickly, guys. But this is why I record the live streams for you, so that you always have the opportunity to look back. Please watch them. Please look back. If you have questions, I'm not trying to be an asshole. Please refer to those. We do have the holidays coming up. I'm not going to be able to just pop on all the time. This is my last whole week here, and then we're leaving to Los Angeles for 2 weeks for the holidays. So I will still be in the office for those times. It just won't be as present as you might be used to. All right, Camilla says... nothing's changed for FARTBOY. Nope, not a thing has changed for FARTBOY, and that's why I've been keeping you in the loop, right? Is because it does look like shit, yeah. So look at what you have here. This is what we keep documenting here on FARTBOY for you for a reason. We pulled a fib from low to the high of the range. You've already hit the 90% lost, and now you've made a three-wave motion up, right? On that three-wave motion, what do you have? Hidden bear divergence on the 4-hour. So far, nothing on FARTBOY tells me, God, I got to get involved in this, right? I'm happy that I de-risked when I did on FARTBOY. I was able to secure a very little bit of profits off of the scalp that we took. And for now, I'm going to continue to stay out of the project until it proves itself. And so far, we just haven't seen anything. So I'm just going to continue to let that one go. All right. Does anybody have any questions or anything else that they want to chat about before I go? Friday, motherfuckers. B said, at some point. Friday. It's on. Let me see what these dudes are typing. He wants ADA. I own some ADA, my dude. Good job, whoever just said that. Fucking Jader. Must mean you're paying attention. I own some ADA. Testing out this local trend that you two are watching. I hope that you are paying attention because this is what we call a bullish recovery, right? This is 1 2 1 2 stacking, likely going into those 3s and 4s like we talked about on fucking, who had this exact look, DOGE, right? And we can continue to push up those stairs every time you get hidden bull divergence. And people are going to be like, well, that just surf your, that makes no fucking sense. Surf the counts. That's how it works. Fucking hidden bull, resets, you move again. Hidden bull, reset, move up again. Do you see it here again? Hidden bull, resets, arcing in price action, moves up again. You can't bitch about it. You just have to fucking move with the punches here, right? So don't be the guy that's like, I think it's topped and I'm going to fucking short it. Because you're going to be the one with pie on your face. You're going to be a dumbass. Don't do it. Let this thing do its thing. We're waiting, right? You already are making what? Divergences. You'll secure this last 15-minute divergence in 3 minutes. But let this trend happen, Jader. And the reason why is because I think you're catching on quickly, sir, that if this is wave 1 into 2, somehow maybe 3 into 4 and 5 when we're done here, what if they're fucking you in an ABC and they pull back like this and it really resets that RSI deeply, right? And you somehow, they drag this till a minimum in time. I don't know where the fucking top was. I can't see without my goggles. Right? Say they drag it out past the end of close today. You could see a really strong pump from Doge after. But let's let it finish the 5-wave, or excuse me, ADA. Let's let it finish the 5-wave motion to the upside, right? I will tell you that nothing good happens after midnight, and nothing good happens under an hourly chart in Elliott Wave, yes? It is fun. You feel like a motherfucking cowboy, but I promise you, you are going to continue to get fucking kicked in the teeth because you'll be like, I think I know what I'm doing. And the chart's going to be like, fuck you, invalidation. Then it's going to tickle the tip and make you think you're doing right. And then it's going to be like, fuck you, invalidation, right? So do be careful with this. This is a very dangerous game. That is a nice 3-wave pullback with hidden bull, man. Fuck off. Yeah, so just continue to watch this. Continue to look for more upside. It's apparently not done yet, right? If it breaks that last 618 that we were looking at, you should go and get jiggy with it. So be aware that this could easily not be done yet. You could see Doge push to that 40-cent range before it's done. And even then, right? Boom, pullback. Looking to get into it. Here's a bull flag, right? Maybe it back tests the region of the bull flag around 36 cents. That's something really common that we've seen in price action is this fucking bounce, bull flag, breakout, bull flag, breakout. And then eventually it gets up here and back tests those bull flags at their average price. And then it breaks out. Oh, we got a fixed range volume profile again, motherfucker. All I had to do is bitch to TradingView. So far, this is our total range. We haven't finished it yet. You can see that the majority of volume, the point of control of the fixed range volume profile is all the way down here at 35. So let's finish this range and let it recalculate for volume, okay? All right. Does anybody have any questions now? Am I going to be able to do the education video that didn't record? Yeah, if you guys want, I will redo that. See, ACU said I will ask later once I go back and catch the beginning. Missed most of the live. Yeah, if you come up with anything that you have, do just let me know. I hope that's helpful on ADA. If you can get that volume to line up with the fibs, probably a good place to buy. 100%. We watched something like that I thought was on Mon earlier this season. BT fucking W's. Another one to kind of keep your eye on the low time frames for this reversal that you're kind of seeing. I don't own any more of this. You've invalidated your plays a long time ago. I think the time to buy it was the pre-sale before it came on, like I was talking about 34 EMA, and then sell that shit as soon as you get it. I don't give a fuck what people say about, like, wow, that's fucking bad for the project. You're going to get dinged. I don't have any love for these projects. They all suck ass, and they're all going to fuck you in the end. So make your money and get out. All right, guys. Well, that was fun. I hope that